we are starting now. Last time we were doing problems on the chapter force on current loop. We did lots of questions on forces, direction and all we discussed. Today we will be doing a few questions on torque. We are doing a few questions on torque, few numerical problems on torque. And then after we will start new topic. Okay, here is the question. Question says a rectangular coil of size, a rectangular coil of size 10 centimeter by 8 centimeter, 10 centimeter by 8 centimeter has 12 turns, has 12 turns and carries a current of 2 ampere Full stop. The coil is in a field. The coil is in a field where magnetic induction is. The coil is in a field where magnetic induction is 0.5 Tesla. 0.5 Tesla. Then first part of the question, first part A of the question says, what is the maximum torque in the coil? What is the maximum torque in the coil? And the second part of question B, in what position would the torque be? In what position would the torque be one half as great as in A? One half as great as in part A. In what position would the torque be one half as great as in A? First part. Okay, now we are finding the answer for this question. Let us first find area of the coil. 10 into 8 will do 80 centimeter square. We'll change in meter square. How do we change? 80 into 10 to the minus 4 meter square. Centimeter to meter 10 to the minus 2 we write, but there is a square for 10 to the minus 4. So area we got. Number of turns given 12. Current value I is given 2 ampere. Now first part A, we have to find maximum torque. Maximum torque formula we have B now. Because alpha value is 0 degree, cos 0 degree is 1. So B now we have. Or even we let sin theta, the sin theta value is 90 degree. Put the value of B. The value of B in the question is given, sorry, B is also given 0.5 Tesla. B value put 0.5. I means current 2 ampere, N means 12, number of turns given, and area is 80 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Your answer will come 0.096 Newton. That is the answer for the first part. Now, second part of the question. You have to find the position of the coil where the torque becomes one half as great as this. That is, now you get the formula torque is equal to B cos alpha we can write or sin theta, any one. You have to find the value of alpha. Or if you write sin theta, you have to find the value of theta. Torque value is one half of this. That means you can get 1 by 2 into 0.096. B value is 0.096. We'll put into cos alpha. This one cancel. You get half is equal to cos alpha. Therefore, alpha value is coming 60 degree. If you take the value theta wise, the theta value will come 30 degree. When you are finding alpha 60 degree, you can write in a bracket. When the plane of the coil makes an angle 60 degree with the plane of the coil, makes an angle 60 degree with the magnetic field. And when you're finding the angle with theta, then you have to write when normal to the plane of the coil, when normal to the plane of the coil makes an angle of 30 degree with the magnetic field, So either of them is the right answer. So this problem is solved. Now another question number next is over here. Question says a rectangular loop of size 12 centimeter by 10 centimeter with 50 turns. 50 n value is given 50 turns. And a current of 3 ampere is placed, and a current of 3 ampere, that means I value is given 3 ampere, is placed in a uniform magnetic field of 0.4 Tesla. That is B value is given 0.4 Tesla. Calculate A, first part. Magnetic moment. First part you have to find magnetic moment. And B, second part, maximum torque. Two things you have to find. Magnetic moment and second part is maximum torque. Let us find answer for part A. So first we are finding magnetic moment, that is P with the subscript N. PM formula we have ENA. I value is given 3. Number of turns 50, area will take 12 tens of 120 into 10 to the minus 4, changing in meter square. Now we will find the answer. The answer of this question will come 1.8. What is the unit of PM? The unit of PM is ampere meter square. AM square. Current is ampere, number of turns has no unit, area is meter square. So ampere into meter square, or into we are giving a dash. Ampere dash meter square. That is first answer. Second part, maximum torque. Maximum torque formula we have B now. Put the value of B, the value of B is 0.4. And E na I and A value as a whole will put 1.8. We can put it individually or we are putting as a whole. 1.8 into 0.4 will give us a 0.72. Unit of torque will be Newton meter. Answer. That is answer. Now we are doing the one more question. Question says in Bohr model of hydrogen atom, BOHR, in Bohr model of hydrogen atom, the electron circulates around the nucleus. The electron circulates around the nucleus in the path of radius 5.1 into 10 to the power minus 11 meter at a frequency of 6.8 into 10 to the power of 15 hertz. We stop. Calculate the magnetic field B. Calculate the magnetic field B at the center of the orbit. We stop. What is equivalent dipole moment? What is equivalent dipole moment? What is equivalent dipole moment? That is the second part. Okay, now let's do. Now answer we are finding. Electron is revolving around the nucleus. Radius is given. Frequency given. You have to find the value of B. B at the center of the orbit. That means we'll be applying the formula of magnetic field at the center of a circular coil. What is the formula? First part we are doing. First, B is equal to, we have the formula, you know, mu naught I by 2R. This we have done in the Biot-Savart law. That time in the magnetic field chapter we had done this one. Let us put the value and find the value of B. Mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Here current not given. They have given frequency. This is the value of frequency given. How to find current when frequency is given and the motion is circular? How to find it? So we will be applying a method out here, right? I formula we have actually Q by T. So Q will be E by T means time period it will take. One revolution, one complete revolution. That is one circle we are taking. Exactly one circle. This is the formula one circle. I is equal to, formula is actually charge upon time. But it is electron because hydrogen atom has got only one electron. That means the charge value is E. Upon time of one revolution. That is called time period. This 1 by T will come up, become E into F. Because F is equal to 1 by T. That is finding current, we can use the formula I equal to EF. If there are more electrons, we get QF then in that case. It is only about one electron because hydrogen has got only one electron. So I will put the value now, E value will put here 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. And F means frequency of revolution, that is given here 6.8 into 10 to the power 15. Divided by 2 into R is 5.1 into 10 to the power minus 11. And now we will calculate the answer using calculator. The answer will come 13.4 Tesla. That is the answer of the first part. Second part, question says find the magnetic moment. Magnetic dipole moment, that is PM. PM formula we have IN. I is current value we will find this way 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 into F means frequency 6.8 into 10 to the power 15. N is the number of turns. We are taking only one revolution. Orbit has got only one revolution, that is one. A is area. Area will do pi r square. Pi into radius square. Radius is given 5.1 into 10 to the power minus 11 square. Now we will use calculator and find the answer. The answer will come 8.88 into 10 to the power minus 24 ampere meter square. Ampere dash meter square you can give or just at ampere meter square. So that is the answer for this question. So with this chapter is over. Okay. Now we are starting next chapter of the next topic rather. Now we will be doing electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction. This is the name of the chapter. Electromagnetic induction. In this chapter, first you have to learn what is magnetic flux and how do we measure it. The first heading you can give magnetic flux, right here magnetic flux denoted by only phi. So we give the symbol phi to denote magnetic flux. Electric flux also phi, but we can write here E there, or here we write E, this is electric flux. If you want, you can write phi and magnetic flux, all you may not write anything, that means plus is only 5. Magnetic flux. In the chapter Gauss theorem I taught this one, and there I said about electric flux. What was electric flux? The electric lines of force passing normally through a surface is called electric flux. Same way we will define magnetic flux. They are the magnetic lines of force passing normally through a surface. Normally through a surface. You can write magnetic field lines passing normally through a surface are called magnetic flux. And it is measured by the dot product between magnetic field vector and the area vector. Magnetic field vector B, you can write under bracket B with arrow. Magnetic field vector, that is B with arrow, and area vector A. Therefore, we write the formula 5. Formula will be B dot A. Area vector. When we expand it, it becomes BA cos theta, where theta is the angle between B vector and area vector. Magnetic field vector and area vector. So we have the formula of magnetic flux given by this. So pi is equal to BA cos theta. The formula is very much similar to the electric flux formula. Electric flux formula we write as EA cos theta. You remember it. EA, electric field multiplied by area and cos theta. And how to find area vector? Area vector will draw the perpendicular to the surface, normal to the surface, and angle with the normal vector, that is the area vector, and the magnetic field will take. For example, suppose we are having a coil like this, and the magnetic field line is going like this way. This is the value of B. This way it is going. How much is the value of theta here? How to find theta value? So on the surface, we will be drawing a normal perpendicular like this, n cap. Normal you are drawing on the surface. The surface is like this, vertical, so draw normal going outward this way. If the surface is like this, normal will come like this, either upward or downward. Any one way will come. But if it is like this, vertical, it will come this way. If it is horizontal, it will come vertical, either upward or downward. So how much is the angle between these two, B and n cap? How much is the angle? 0 degrees. So this type of value of theta we take 0 degree. If the surface is like this, horizontal, and the line is passing like this, B is this way, what is the angle theta now? Theta angle you will draw perpendicular here, perpendicular you are drawing n cap. Angle is how many degree? 90 degree. So this time the value of theta is 90 degree here. Theta value will take 90 degree. And cos 90 degree is 0, that means the value of flux will become 0. Area vector, remember it, area vector. Even the torque when we formed, we express in terms of theta, sin theta. Theta was the same angle between the area vector. Area means suppose coil is like this. This is the coil. You have to draw normal perpendicular to this one. Perpendicular will come like this either, or it will come this way. So with this and the magnetic field, whatever is the angle, that angle you take. If the coil turns, this will come like this. Now the normal will come like this, and magnetic field is going like this. So this angle will take as the angle theta, area vector. Okay. So you have to read the questions carefully. If they say plane of the coil is making 90 degrees, is perpendicular to the magnetic field, that means theta value will become 0 degree. Plane of the coil is alpha angle, alpha is given 90 degree, therefore theta will be 0. 90 minus alpha will be the value of theta. If plane of the coil is parallel to the field, That means alpha value is 0 degree, therefore theta value will be 90 degree. Alpha and theta are related to each other by 90 because alpha plus theta will be 90 degree. Therefore theta will be 90 minus alpha. Cos theta value is 90 minus alpha, it will change into sin. Cos 90 minus alpha will be sin alpha. So that is how we change. But phi value we have BA cos theta. Phi is magnetic flux, it is a scalar, like it is a scalar. It is a scalar quantity with the SI unit, Weber, W-E-B-E-R, Weber, and we denote by W-B, capital W, small b, Weber. This is the unit, SI unit. SI unit of electric flux, if you remember, SI unit of electric flux was voltmeter or it was Newton meter square per coulomb. But SI unit of magnetic flux is Weber, in short we write Weber. W-E-B-E-R, Weber. Though we can write Tesla meter square also, T-M square also we can write. But that is only in short abbreviated as Weber and denoted by W-E. And it is a scalar because this coming dot product is a scalar quantity. It does not have direction. It will not have direction. We will not apply the rule of vector for this phi. What is the unit for B? If you remember, unit for B we write Tesla. There is another unit of B also, which is same. Another unit of B is Weber per meter square. WB. Another unit is Weber per meter square. This also we can write. 1 Tesla and 1 Weber per meter square is equal. 1 Tesla is same as 1 Weber per meter square. They are same. You can see why it comes Weber per meter square from this equation. Phi is Weber divided by area. Cos theta angle doesn't have unit. So Weber per meter square is because of this relation. The CGS unit of B is, you can note it down because I did not teach before. Now you learn it. CGS unit of B is equal to Gauss. Gauss, denoted by capital G. It is there in the syllabus. SI unit is Tesla or Weber per meter square, but the CGS unit is CGS system unit of B is Gauss or capital G, denoted by capital G. We have a relation. We write here 1 Gauss equal to 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. Please remember. 1 Gauss is equal to 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. Why this happens? There is a reason also behind. This meter square we are changing in centimeter square. How do we change? Meter is 100. So 100 square, that is 10 to the power of 4 will be taken up, will become 10 to the minus 4. From centimeter we are changing into meter square. So 1 Gauss is equal to 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. So this is the relationship between Gauss and Tesla. So just to know that 1 Gauss will be equal to 10 to the minus 4 Tesla and 1 Gauss is the CGS unit of B, magnetic field. Okay, now you can write down the definition of electromagnetic induction. What is the definition? Before that, first you have to learn who invented this phenomenon of electromagnetic induction. The scientist was Faraday, Michael Faraday. He invented the phenomenon of electromagnetic induction. Actually, he was the inventor of dynamo, generator, and generator works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. So he gave 2 laws. Michael Faraday gave 2 laws of electromagnetic induction. The First law is the definition of electromagnetic induction, and the second law I will be giving the statement. So you write down Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction, in short, we call EMI also. EMI, electromagnetic induction. EMI. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Law number one. Law number one is the definition of electromagnetic induction. He defined it. He said, please write it down. Whenever there is change, whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux, whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux linked with a coil, whenever there is change in the magnetic flux linked with a coil, comma, there is an induced EMF, and current in the coil. There is an induced EMF and current in the coil. Full stop. This phenomenon is known as EMI. This phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. This phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. And the second law, law number 2, the rate of change of magnetic flux, the rate of change of magnetic flux is directly proportional to the induced EMF, Therefore, we write as therefore E is proportional to, here we write d phi by dt. Change of flux, rate of change of flux. Right below this, in SI unit, constant value is 1, so we will be writing E equal to d phi by dt. E means the EMF. E is equal to d phi by dt. Here we have for n turns of coils, total EMF will be equal to n d phi by dt. If there are 8 turns in the coil, the total EMF produced will be equal to n d phi by dt in SI unit. What is the SI unit of EMF? Volts, in terms of volts. This is the formula. The two laws. Number one says, it says the definition of EMI. Whenever there is change in the magnetic flux linked with the coil or associated with the coil, there will be an induced EMF and current in the coil, and this phenomenon is called EMI. And the second one, more the change of flux, the greater is the rate of change of flux, greater is the magnitude of EMF produced. That means in SI unit E equal to d phi by dt or this one. Okay. Now, right below that, Lenz's law. Lenz's, L-E-N-Z apostrophe, Lenz's law. Actually, Lenz's law is used to find the direction of induced current. Please write down Lenz's law, the statement you write. It states that that the direction of induced EMF, the direction of induced current, the direction of induced current is such that it opposes the cause, it opposes the cause, CAUSE, it opposes the cause which produces it, it opposes the cause which produces it. We stop, then write down. Lenz's law is the consequence of, Lenz's law is the consequence of law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of energy, or second law of thermodynamics, or the second law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics. Therefore, using Lenz's law, the induced EMF is written as follows. The induced EMF is written as follows. Now we write down here. E equal to minus m d phi by dt. We put a minus sign here using the Lenz's law. Lenz suggested an addition in this Faraday's law. He just determined the direction, and he said that the direction of induced current, and induced current is due to the EMF, will be opposite to the cause. What is the cause of EMF? This d phi by dt. It will be opposite. So opposite means minus sign. So using Lenz's law, the value of EMF, induced EMF, equation become E equal to minus n d phi by dt. On what law the principle is the Lenz's law based? We say it is based on the principle of conservation of energy or second law of thermodynamics. What is second law of thermodynamics? Second law of thermodynamics says that to harness an energy or to create an energy, work has to be done against the system. If we want to create any new kind of energy, we have to, whatever energy is neither created nor whatever energy is the input energy, that energy must be opposed. You must have to do some external work against that energy, then only a new energy will be created. One example, suppose when we walk, we generate heat energy in our body. We are generating heat calories in our body. That's why walking is very useful, very good for our body. Why heat energy is generated? Because we want to generate heat energy. So whenever we walk, that is our mechanical energy, that is kinetic energy, faces opposition by friction force. Friction is opposing it. That means the friction is doing work against the kinetic energy, There must be some opposition. And the result is the heat energy which we are generating. That is the second law of thermodynamics. Whenever we want to generate any new energy we cannot generate. Whatever energy we supply, out of that only we are changing it into another form of energy, or we are generating a new form of energy. But that energy must suffer an opposition in any due to any reason. There must be opposition, there must be work against that energy, then only the new energy will be generated. That's why Lenz's law suggested a minus sign. The direction of induced EMF or the current, rather the current has direction, EMF doesn't have direction. So we say the direction of induced current is such that it opposes the cause, cause, which produces it. So this is in this one satisfies the law of conservation of energy or second law of thermodynamics. So the value of induced EMF is this. So let us find the value of induced current now. Therefore, induced current, equation of induced current will have induced current. We know the formula, current formula will be E by R. V by R we had Ohm's law. So V is same as EMF. I equal to E by R. So next time we write this. I is equal to E value will put this much. It will become as minus N by R d phi by dt. This is the formula of induced current. We will find the formula for the induced charge also. Induced charge. You can write now induced charge. Induced charge. Why we are using the word induced? Induced means what? Motivated, inspired. Why we are using the word? Because if we don't have this one d phi by dt, then current will not be there. So because current is inspired or generated or motivated by the change of flux d phi by dt. When there is no change in it, there will be no EMF. That is it. So induced charge, we know the formula like this: I is equal to charge upon time. Therefore, Q will be equal to I into T. Let us multiply here only. I into dt will become Q. There we get Q is equal to minus N by R into d phi. D phi is just a change in flux. I into dt will make Q. So this is the formula of induced charge, minus N by R d phi. So this is the formula of induced charge, induced current, induced EMF. Minus sign tells you the Lenz's law, the opposition part. Okay. In class 10, if you remember, we had this topic, but you did not know the statement of Faraday's laws. We used to learn it only in a basic manner. Only we used to learn it. If you remember, class 10 we used to do like this. We used to take a coil and we used to take a magnet like this. South pole, north pole here. And the magnet is being moved like this way. When the magnet is moved, there will be a current formed here. If magnet is not moved, neither the magnet nor the coil, there will be no current induced. Current will not be there in the coil. Why? Due to the motion, the current is induced, because magnetic lines of force will be originating from north pole. There are so many magnetic lines of forces are originating like this way. Many of them, infinite number. Like this, directing away, direct away, like this. These are the magnetic flux. But are there any changing in the magnetic lines of flux passing through the coil or linked with the coil? If we don't move it, the answer is no. There is no. If you keep it constant, nothing. Magnetic flux. If I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them are only passing and will be fixed, will be constant. Now, when you move it closer, the more and more will pass. Then there is a change from that level. Magnetic flux is changing. Then only there will be current. If you take it away this side, then also there will be numbers will be not decreasing. So again there is a change. Either increasing way or decreasing way, there is a change. So there will be induced current in the coil. As long as there is a change in the magnetic flux passing through the coil or linked with the coil, there will be induced EMF. And induced EMF will generate a current, that is called induced current. If you keep the magnet constant but moving the coil, still there will be induced current, because by moving the coil there will be change in the magnetic flux, or we are rotating the coil, still there will be change in the magnetic field that is passing through the coil. Somehow we have to bring change in the magnetic flux passing through the coil, and that will be resulting in the induced EMF and current. If you remember class 10, I just show another diagram here. By chance, if magnet and the coil both are moved in the same direction with the same velocity, will there be induced current? Answer is no, because magnetic flux linked with the coils are not changing. So there must be some relative motion between the magnet and the coil, and that will be generating or inducing current and EMF. In this case, suppose we have magnet south and north here, and this was the coil, like this previous one. Magnet is being moved like this. What direction will current flow? How to find the direction of current flow? Motion must be opposed by the Lenz's law. This kinetic energy must be opposed. Then only we can generate a new energy, that is electricity, electrical energy, that is current in the form of current. So what direction current? First, north pole is coming here. Motion of this magnet will be opposed by a north pole created in the coil, because north will be repelling this repulsion. This will give a force in this direction, like this force. Now this one is being opposed by this one, and we know the fact in a circular coil when current enters in anti-clock direction, it will be creating a north pole. Now the north pole is created. What direction current will be? Anti-clock direction, like this, anti-clock. We mark the direction anti-clockwise. If the magnet is moved on the opposite side, this side, velocity is given in this direction. That means how can we oppose the motion? This motion can be opposed. That means the south pole will be created in the coil. South will be attracting this one, magnet this side. Now this motion is opposed by this by a magnetic pole created there. If it is south pole, what direction current will go? In a clockwise direction, this way. So this is what we used to do in class 10. And what law do we follow to find the direction of current in the coil, in this coil? By the motion of this magnet. The name of the law is Lenz's law. And we are opposing the motion, we are opposing the kinetic energy of this one, mechanical energy of this magnet, by having a pole being created there. And then there will be a current generated there. Direction of current we find this way, as simple as that. If both magnet and coils are moved in the same direction with the same velocity, then no current will be induced. On the other hand, suppose we are having a magnet fixed, but the coil is moved now. This time let us move the coil. I will move the coil. Velocity is given to the coil. Yet there will be current. Why? Change in flux is taking place. What direction current will be? This motion must be opposed. North is here. North will create what pole here? North, so that the repulsion will take place. This and this will be in opposition. If you put south pole here, then north will attract the south. It will come in. These two will be in the same direction. There is no opposition. You must oppose. That's why there must be a north pole created here, and motion is opposed. The north pole means anti-clock direction. We will mark anti-clock direction. That is how we mark the direction. So probably this kind of question in class 12 standard now will not come, because this we used to do in class 10 level. But that was the logic behind, and we used Lenz's law to find the direction of induced current. So our today's lesson will be this much. Next day we will be discussing the methods of producing EMF, induced EMF. What are the methods of producing those EMF? Those are there in the syllabus that we will be discussing in the next class. So we do this much for the day. Thank you.